Hey friends, you're watching this video because we've gifted you with these awesome Thermos travel mugs. We love these so much. I've had this one here, right here, this one, for 4 years, and it still works great. It's very durable. The only thing that has happened to it in 4 years is there's a little paint chip right there, ha ha ha. So it's really durable, keeps hot drinks hot forever, keeps cold drinks cold forever. It's so awesome. I managed to talk Kay into getting one, and he loves it too. So we're hoping that you guys will love it as much as we do. Your version is going to have a custom engraving on it that we got done just for you. My cousin in Florida did the engravings. If you like them, check out Happyism on Etsy. That's her store online. So I'm going to walk you through a little bit more about how awesome this cup is, and then I'm going to show you how to disassemble and reassemble the lid to clean it. It's the one complaint that people have on Amazon. It can be kind of persnickety to get things back together. So let's look at how awesome the cup is. This thing is a double-walled mug. So there's an inside layer, and then there's an air gap, and then there's an outside layer. So it keeps hot drinks hot, even if the outside temperature is really cold. We've had hot drinks stay hot for like 6 hours in 20 and 30 degree temperatures. And it keeps cold drinks cold, even if the outside is really hot. So Kay used to use it to keep his cold drinks cool in the van again when there was like 100-degree heat blowing on it from our stupid heater that wouldn't turn off. Awesome. Also, it's really durable. Some guy actually ran over it with a truck, and it was still usable after that. One of the most awesome things about it is virtually spill-proof if you use it properly. This lid is super robust and awesome. It's got this little clicky mechanism where right now it's in the open position. Then you just flip it to the closed position. And in theory, when it's in this position, you can turn it upside down in a bag, in your car, whatever, and it's not going to spill. But it only works that way if you do a couple things right. So let's get into how the lid works and how to clean it. So when you're putting a drink inside this mug, you don't want to go past this line right here. It's about 1.5 inches from the top. It's just a bump out line that's by itself. And the reason for that is when this lid is sitting in the cup, it will be just about down to that line. So if the fluid in the cup goes past that line, it's going to go past the gasket that seals the cup, and some of it is going to get in between the gasket and the plastic piece, so it's not going to seal properly and there's going to be fluid in your lid. When you turn it upside down, all the fluid's going to run out. So you don't want that to happen. So when you're filling the cup, make sure you stop at that line. Then when you put the lid on the cup, make sure the lid is in the open position. The reason for that is that this is totally sealed, otherwise it can be hard to get the lid closed and hard to get a good seal on it if it starts out in the closed position. Screw it on nice and tight. Then when you're ready to go, just flip it to the closed position. Now in this position, in theory, you can put it upside down in a bag, dump it on the floor or whatever, and it's not going to spill. One of the tricky things about this mug can be cleaning the lid. Because it's really spill-proof and robust, there's a lot of gaskets and it's kind of tricky to disassemble and reassemble. So if you're like Kay and you only use tea or some sort of fluid in it, you can probably just give this a really thorough rinse and be fine. If you're like me and you drink coffee that has milk in it, you're definitely going to want to wash this lid out. So you're going to want to disassemble it so that you can put it back to, clean it and then put it back together again. So when you disassemble the lid, make sure you start in the open position. If it's in the closed position, this plastic piece is right up against this gasket and it's really difficult to disassemble and you won't be able to reassemble it properly. So make sure it's open. Then this little plastic piece on the inside just twists 90 degrees and pops right off. This plastic piece comes right off too. And then this gasket also comes off. So let's start with this lid. This lid is a 4-chamber lid, and I don't know how well you can tell, 2 of the chambers go straight through. Those are where the liquid passes through the lid, and then 2 of the chambers are just closed chambers. So if you have a drink that has coffee or something in it, you're going to want to get down into each of these chambers with a brush or a sponge to get the coffee or the milk out of the corners, anything that's going to leave residue. Also, sometimes fluid gets trapped inside this little gasket here. You can just sort of pinch it and create an air gap and just rinse some water in there. It's no big deal. Then this gasket, you just sort of pop open, and you can run a brush or a sponge through the inside of the gasket and rinse it thoroughly. It'll rinse right out. When you go to put this back on, make sure you put the flat side down. So there's a little lip that sticks up from the inside. It's a little indented lip. With the flat side down, it just sits right on the lid all the way around, and then the indent gasket part sits inside on this little plastic part. So then this part, if you're cleaning this individually, there may be some milk or some sort of fluid residue on the underside you'll have to clean, and there may also be a little bit inside this indent here, but otherwise it's pretty easy. Just a rinse should suffice. So you want to put this back on the lid with the slightly domed side facing down toward the lid, and with this little indent up, because that's where the other plastic piece goes back inside. So you just slip this right on. Then this little plastic piece also has a gasket on it. Pops right off. If you have milk or some sort of residue, you just pop this off, rinse it, give it a quick sponge, and the inside of this as well. Pop it back on again. And just make sure you get a positive click all the way around. You can see in person whether or not it's on that lip, and if it isn't, just pop it on. Then to put it back on, gasket side down into that indent, push down until you can turn it, and then turn it 90 degrees, and boom, it's back on. Again, it's really important to do this in the open position, because if this is in the closed position, this plastic piece is right up against this gasket, so you can't actually push down far enough to get it to turn, this part, in order to stay liquid tight. So some issues you may have with it being not spill proof, if this gasket doesn't seat properly, if this piece is upside down, or if this gasket doesn't seat properly with this piece in this indentation, then fluid can get through. So some people on Amazon have issues with it because they don't get it assembled correctly. So that's it. It's really easy to disassemble and reassemble. I just walked you through it slowly so you could see where all the parts go. Always in the on position when you're putting it on, and enjoy. Merry Christmas, guys!